Hello, Barendipitous here with another video for the Board Game Shelf, and here we've got Disney Codenames. We're getting into a section of my board game of our board game shelf that is definitely dedicated to like party games. Essentially, I don't usually play a lot of. Generally, when I play board games, it's my wife and I, right? And we tend to like play some of the more serious games like Mansions of Madness or Gloomhaven or things like that, like the larger games. But then we do have a few party games that we can bring to game nights that are a lot more accessible and just a lot more fun with more than two people. So yeah, so Disney Codenames. Codenames is a fairly popular party game in general. Um, but if you're not familiar, essentially, I don't know if I want to like set it all up here, but essentially what you're going to have is you're going to have a grid of cards, a grid of these square cards, and there's two options. You can either have the word side up, or you can have the picture side up. Okay. Usually, and it can be fun. It can be fun either way, especially with younger players. The picture side is probably better. So in this case, we have Dumbo on this side, and we have a picture of Dumbo on this side, right? So either one works. Choose either the words only or pictures only. And yeah, obviously we've got a bunch of cards that represent all kinds of different people and places and things and various Disney movies, right? So they're going to be all laid out on a grid, and there's going to be two teams, and one person from each team is going to be kind of like the code giver, essentially. And the code givers, the two code givers are going to be the only ones who see something that looks like this. I talked about this a little bit in with Mysterium Park because it's a very similar concept going on, but they're going to see this because all the tiles are going to be out on like a 5x5 square, or if you want a shorter game, you can. There's like 4x4 square versions, but essentially the two code givers are the only ones. One from each team are going to be the only ones to see this, and everyone else just sees the normal grid of cards without the colors. So there's a red team and a blue team. So the code giver from the blue team wants to try to get their team to guess these squares that are blue, and the same thing, red team, red squares, right? The the yellow squares are neutral, but the black square is you lose. Like if your team picks that one, you lose instantly. So you want to avoid that. Here's the 4x4 version. No black squares at all. So if you want like an easier or a faster game, you can do that. You can also you can have like different orientations as well. The edge here kind of tells you which team is going to go first, because on some of these there's one more red than blue, and on some of these there's one more blue than red. An odd number basically. But yeah, so let's say we have this, and the code giver for the red team goes first. They look around, they see a bunch of these tiles. They see like Dumbo and Thumper and whatever, and they're trying to get the other team to guess as many of the red squares as possible. So let's say we have Dumbo. Let's say we have Dumbo here, King Triton. Let's say we have Dumbo here in this top corner. We have King Triton here, and then we have Thumper here in this black square. All right, it just works out that way. Well, so the code giver can give basically a one-word clue, and then also say a number. So, for example, they could say something like animal 2, and so then the other team would have to be like, okay, so that's an animal and that's an animal. They're trying to the animal is like the key word of the ones that I'm trying to lead you to all have this one word in common, or this one concept in common. And then the 2 is I'm thinking of 2 things that match this keyword, right? This code word. However, animal 2 would be a terrible thing to say in this case, because if we have Dumbo here and Thumper here, and those two are animals as opposed to King Triton, then they would say, oh, Dumbo's the animal and Thumper's the animal, so they're going to flip them one at a time, and when they do, then the correct color is placed on the card to kind of show what it is, whether it be red or blue or neutral or black, right? So you wouldn't want to say animal 2 in this case. You want them to they want to avoid the Thumper that's on the black. So let's see, Dumbo and Poseidon. What would be, if you wanted to try to get them to guess that? What would be a good one here? I can't really think of one here. But yeah, but obviously there's going to be more than just like two there's going to be more than just two reds. Like there could be something else. It's like maybe there's like a bird character, maybe like the seagull from Little Mermaid is like here or something. So they could say bird two. Oh no, like flying two. So Dumbo and the seagull, and you're good to go basically, and they get that card. So that's essentially how it works, and then you just sort of go back and forth between the blue team and the red team. Whoever gets all of theirs first or wins, or if one of the team gets the black square first, then they lose, obviously. But yeah, and then these are the cardboard squares that you put on top of the tiles. There is one that will look, oh yeah, here's the black one, and then there's the tan ones. There is one that's going to look like this, because there's going to be an odd number, right? So if there's more blue than red, then it's going to be this one. But if there's more red than blue, then it's going to be this one. So all the other ones are just the same color on both sides. Anyway, that's basically how Codenames works. Very, very straightforward party game, and yeah, pretty fun for a few rounds, I think. I know there's also an online version that I've played before, which is pretty good. But yeah, usually when it comes to party games, I don't find them as interesting necessarily. I don't play party games for the mechanics of the game or like how good the games are themselves. It's more like how much fun do I have with my friends and family with this game, right? That's the main deciding factor. And if it's if it's a lot of fun, then then it's worth playing it. It's worth bringing it to a board game night. So there is, and I know there's also other versions of Codenames as well. This just happens to be a Disney version. There's a normal version. There's a duet version. There's a Marvel version. Whatever, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, but we have the Disney one. So glad we have it. Codenames is definitely a good party game to have. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, all the best.